So Mark, here we are halfway through the season. How is the season going for you from an organiser's point of view?
Time just flies by. I can't believe we've already got to the middle of the season. It's going very well. We've got full grids, competitive racing, great hospitality. Really, everybody seems to be enjoying it, and that's the main thing.
And how's the championship battle shaping up this season?
The championship's shaping up really well. We're mid-season, and it's very, very close. There's a whole load of people that can both take the overall champion position or win their groups, and I think the fact that it's so close is very, very exciting, and we're very pleased how it's turned out.
And of course this year you've been trying out a new format in the GT Trophy. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've got the GT Trophy. It'll be our second race, the day and night race. We've got two 1 hour races, one during the day and one at night, which should be quite exciting for us.
And of course the GT Trophy is a very different prospect to the GT Cup. There's longer endurance races and pro drivers are allowed in too.
Yeah, the GT Trophy is a very different concept to the GT Cup. We allow in pro drivers teaming up with amateur drivers, and it's for a much broader selection of cars. So we have GT3 cars, and we equalise it through variable length pit stops. So within each group we can have a close race to the finish.
Back to GT Cup, I mean, how early do you start planning ahead for next season?
We start planning very early for the next season. I'm already now well advanced with next year's plans. Obviously the circuits need booking very early, and we have to make a lot of decisions about how to structure the groups for next year, and I'll be announcing very soon how we're going to do that for next year.
Do you think there'll be big changes next year?
Not big changes, we're going to just evolution. It seems to be a formula which is very popular. It's working well, so keep with the strong points of it, but just try and develop it all the time and make sure that we're moving forward.
Well, it seems to be going very well again this season, and like you say, full grids, which is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, the full grids is definitely a big part of it. I mean, everybody enjoys it, the spectators find it fantastic, the competitors all want to have people to race against, and I think it's, the key to success really.
Well, here we are back down on the grid, ready for race 2. Next to me there on pole position, again, it's Chris Randall in that Lotus Europa. A very good effort from him in race 1. Let's see if he can repeat that for race 2. If I can just spin you around there, Marcus, because on this row, the second row of the grid, well, we've got Alex Martin, just behind him, Danny Winstanley. They both went off together on the first lap of race 1. So I think they'll both be hoping that they don't do that again this time. And you can just see, just in the distance, well, that is our Group 2 poleman on the KTM there. They had, again, not a very good race in race 1, so we'll be hoping that they get a better finish for race 2.
Well, Danny Winstanley having the all too common sight of the rear of Alex Martin's car as they head off on the formation lap for race 2 here of round 4 of the 2010 GT Cup Championship at Brands Hatch, and it's Chris Randall who takes pole position with Mark Sumter alongside him on the front row of the grid. It's Martin, Andy Purdy and Danny Winstanley 4th, 5th and 6th. That is quite some combination. Again, Michael Simmons well up in Group 2. He lines up 11th. Marco Pullen, who was the Group 2 winner in race 1, well, he's 13th in car number 13. So Andrew takes the Group 3 pole in 23rd place. But an enormous field as ever from the GT Cup Championship. Fortunately, no casualties from race 1. We've got 35 starters for this second race on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Starting from the pit lane is Chris Bentley, however, so he will wait for the field to make their way through Paddock Hill Bend. Rolling start as ever. Chris Randall on the inside. Will he be able to get the run with the Lotus? Away he goes. A brilliant start from Chris Randall as Mike Donovan looks to the inside of Mark Sumter as they go up towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. But Sumter having none of that, and Alex Martin indeed looking to the outside of Donovan as they go through Paddock. Everybody safely through this time round. Alex Martin up into 3rd place, already challenging Mark Sumter. Alex Martin, who really has gone from strength to strength in 2010. A very lively start to the race for him, running a little bit wide through Driz, but it doesn't really cost him because Mike Donovan busy defending from Andy Purdy. Looking to the inside of Mark Sumter at Graham Hill Bend. No way through there for Alex Martin. Everybody streams through at the moment. Sam Mole, who leads the Group 2 runners, as Michael Simmons and Keith Webster in the BMWs go side by side. They're chasing down Colin Broster. And a bit of a dust being kicked out there by Michael Simmons, but I don't think it's going to cost him too much. Simmons, who had so many problems in free practice and qualifying, great to see him out there in this race and up in the midfield as well. Andy Ruin picking his way past Sam Moll in the KTM Crossbow. Nicely done by Andy Ruin there, so he elevates himself up a position, as also Will Goff trying to move his way up the order. The leading 5 cars over very closely bunched. Chris Randall, he's got the acceleration in that Lotus Rover, but not the same straight line speed advantage as the Porsches around him. And this is one of the beauties of the GT Cup Championship. Each group, the cars are so finely equalised that the different characteristics really do mean that around a whole lap the cars are very even, and that's exactly what we're seeing here, with Randall so rapid out of the corners but then really having to defend along the straights before building the advantage through the curves, as we can see here as they begin to fan out and almost go 3 abreast. It's Randall holding the inside. He's trying to push Sumpter to the outside. Sumpter is up for the challenge, but I don't think he's going to find a way through, because Chris Randall holds a very tight line through Paddock Hill Bend, so Mark Sumpter around the outside finds no joy, and instead he's going to have to think about defending from Alex Martin. Indeed, yes, Sumpter jinxed the inside as Martin looks to the outside. They go up to the Heaven at Druids. To Druids they come, as Mark Sumpter at the moment, he really is causing a bit of a sandwich, because Chris Randall and Alex Martin, they are fighting for Group 1 championship points here, and therefore just want to clear the invitation class car of Mark Sumpter as quickly as possible. Danny Winstanley having a little bit of a muted weekend as through goes Alex Martin, and that was a really nice move from Martin, and then holds it tight through Surtees. So Alex Martin goes into 2nd overall and is now free to try and chase down Chris Randall as best he can. Mark Sumpter also losing out to Mike Donovan, as Mike Donovan, who won the first race, is trying to repeat that in race 2. Moving to the inside just to keep Sumpter at base. So now we've got Randall and Martin at the head of the field. Multi-mark racing is what the GT Cup Championship is known for, and that's exactly what we're getting here on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix loop. They go through Sheen on towards Sterling's, and the leading duo beginning to break away now from the Donovan, Sumpter and Purdy battle. And Andy Purdy is now being reeled in as well by Danny Winstanley in the TVR. So Danny Winstanley closing as much as he can as Randall leads through clearways and spins, and Randall spins. He rotates several times and comes to rest at the edge of the circuit. Disaster for Chris Randall. He spins out of the lead of the race. So Alex Martin it is who now takes the advantage from Mike Donovan and Andy Purdy. Danny Winstanley working his way up through the order. Mark Sumpter just dropping back a little bit. Andy Ruin as well going well. Gary Eastwood just running a little bit wide. He enables his, of course, a teammate Leon Price to go through. He moves onto the circuit and off goes Phil Dryber in avoidance. So as Eastwood went across to reclaim the line, Phil Dryber felt he had nowhere to go and spins, just kissing the tyre barrier. So out of the race for Phil Dryber. Colin Broster it is who is now leading the Group 2 charge. He's got Keith Webster right on his tail. We go in car with Dan Norris-Jones, who's currently 2nd in Group 3. The Group 3 leader we can see right over us, that's Tom Andrew in the KTM Crossbow, as they close up on Michael Saunders in the TVR as they go down Pilgrim's Drop. And that's very close indeed, almost being pushed onto the grass there. Dan Norris-Jones as he goes the outside of Tom Andrew. They go to Hawthorne side by side. That's looking very congested. They make the slightest of contacts, and Norris-Jones every which way with the wheel somehow avoids Tom Andrew. That was very nearly an enormous incident. Great avoiding the action from both drivers as Danny Winstanley keeps Mark Sumpter at bay. TVR going a little bit better in race 2 as they make their way down towards Clark Curve. There is the Group 2 leader Colin Broster, who is clear of Toby Tarrant-Willis, and then Michael Simmons, who is currently 2nd in Group 2, and Simmons has got the Group 1 car of Tarrant-Willis between himself and Broster. Tarrant-Willis, however, much improved in 2010 and really going very well this weekend at Brands Hatch. Well, coming up to take the checker flag is Alex Martin, who's got Andy Purdy right on his tail, but it's Alex Martin who takes the win in the 2nd race here at Brands Hatch. Great drive from him, his 3rd win of 2010, with Dan Norris-Jones just pipping to Andrew at the post for Group 3 honours. Final classification, Alex Martin does take the win from Andy Purdy, with Mike Donovan rounding out the podium. Andy Ruin a strong drive to 5th with Leon Price and Gary Eastwood in 6th and 7th. In terms of the group points, well, it's Alex Martin who wins Group 1 from Andy Purdy and Andy Ruin. Group 2 won by Colin Broster from Michael Simmons and Keith Webster. And then Dan Norris-Jones doing the double in Group 3 from Tom Andrew and David Bottrell. Well, some very happy group winners on the podium, receiving the applause from their teams down in the pit lane and from the crowd on the other side of the circuit. The champagne is unleashed on the podium with some very delighted drivers.
So Alex, I guess that kind of makes makes up for the trip into the gravel in race 1?
Yeah, first race was just damage limitation, and that one I just had fun. It was great.
Yeah, it looked like a fantastic race for you. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really, really did. Yeah.
Well, Colin, first of all, welcome back. Great to see you back in GT Cup, and congratulations. I guess that makes up for the disappointment in race 1.
That was just reward, I think, for this morning. Yeah, now we know the rules. We'll play by them.
And we'll be seeing you out to Alton.
Definitely.
See you then. Well, Dan, fantastic. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better result. 2 wins for you.
No, it's great. I really wanted to win both races today. It's my home race. And you might have noticed the name Chris on my car. He's a friend, used to come to all my races. And he died a few weeks ago. He couldn't make it. So it's for him and his wife and his kid who are here today.
As we leave Brands Hatch, it's Alex Martin who leads the Group 1 Championship from Gary Eastwood and Leon Price. Group 2, Keith Webster is just ahead of Marco Pullen and Michael Simmons. And then into Group 3, it's Tom Andrew from Dan Norris Jones, who's closed that gap over the weekend. David Bottrell there in 3rd. In terms of the overall GT Cup Championship standings, it's Keith Webster who leads the way by just 2 points from Alex Martin, with Marco Pullen in 3rd. It's getting very tight at the top.
Well, while the racing continues out on track here at Brands Hatch, that's it for the GT Cup. You can see all the teams are packing away behind us as we're finished with another round of the 2010 GT Cup Championship. Do join us for more fantastic racing next time when we'll be heading up north to Alton Park.